Yo, welcome to the Table Talk podcast, where we sit down, pull up a chair, and we get started. This podcast is designed to provide you packed full of information to help you with your training, nutrition, lifestyle, and well-being, where we interview myself through case studies to give you lifetime experience. And then we also interview high-performing individuals or other career-focused people who are looking to make changes in their lifestyle, training, nutrition, and well-being. So let's pull up that chair and let's go. So just to give a little hindsight to everyone, who is Owen? What's this guy? You don't talk much about Owen. Well, before 2023, post-Owen, I didn't know Owen. This is a guy that when I attend an event, so one thing for me is that I like, when I attend events, there's a certain level of standard. Usually when you attend an event, you've got a piece of paper, document, you make notes, little things like that so you can journal. And this guy comes up, starts chatting, and me being me, I was like, oh, you don't have any material. There's this letter, there's this thing here. I'm like, oh, it's probably something from Dan. It's so nice of Dan. And Owen starts presenting. And I'm like, oh, it's got the whiteboard. Okay. It's not very present. No, this is me being stagnant in my expectation. Like everyone's the same. And he starts chatting and then he starts cracking a few jokes. I'm like, oh, that joke wasn't very funny. And then goes, he starts drawing layers and someone goes, that's like an onion. He's like, oh, but everyone likes parfait. Everyone likes parfait. And obviously I got the Shrek reference. I started laughing and we made eye contact. And I'm like, fuck, you got me. I even said it and, presented, gave a lot of information, but more, this is the challenge that I realized that you can get all the paper that you like. The thing is that if you're not writing down, you're not really learning and applying it to self. So all of us here are going to have to be working through something. And just understand that this is why I liked Owen, is that one, he was able to work with everyone individually, but able to work with the group as well. So it'll give us a lot of usable information that we can apply for ourselves. Yo, Manny. And two, at the end of the prezzo, he kept telling me, don't worry about writing notes. I'm like, no, this is liquid gold. I got to write it down. Because at the end of it, he went, by the way, just so everyone knows, all your notes are in that letter. And I was like, he got me real good. So I'm really excited to have Owen here to talk about fostering winning mindset, because I know personally for me, it's a challenge that I have. And I'm looking forward to been working with a bit of Owen personally. And I look forward to actually running with an event with him in the next few months to actually help my mindset and recalibrate myself to go at a higher level. And this is why we've got him here today, to give us a little taste of what it's all about. So Owen, mate, thank you so much. And really looking forward to today.
Thank you very much for that lovely introduction, Carl. And just before we get into it, just give Carl a good round of applause for putting this event on, because I think it's something that not a lot of places do. And I think just hats off to you, mate. Well done. So just give a good round of applause.
Thank you, sir.
They're bloody awesome. So, as Carl said, my name's Owen Hallam. I'm a performance coach, and I help individuals and teams find the best in themselves in order to personally, professionally experience their success and joy that they're seeking. So, does that sound like something that's worth investing the next 40 minutes in tonight? Heads? Jump in the chat. Have you guys got your chat boxes open? Do me a favour, open your chat boxes, because if you're not coming off move, just pop stuff in the chat. I've got it going beside me. I can see what's happening here. And if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat. Any comments would be awesome. So we're going to start. So tonight we're talking about fostering a winning mindset. Now, what's that all about? It's about breaking the mindset that aligns success by prioritising your thought process, right? We're going to clearly differentiate between what's a victim mentality, what's the worker's mindset. But what we want to focus on is the transformative power of the winning mindset. And that just comes. Now, can I get a quick show of hands here? Who's ever heard Roger Federer after a tennis match on his press conference? Or your Ash Barty, or your Pat Cummins, somebody like that? Yeah? You'll hear? Oh, lovely, Athena. Awesome. Great. Thanks for the show of hands there. So have you ever heard how they talk? There's just something about them. They're focused on what it is they were able to do. What was actually going on? They're really present. They can break down and analyze the game as they're working through it. They're not sitting there afterwards, if they've lost, complaining about not having the best coach, having a poor equipment, or just having everything against them that day. They're there looking at analysing how they're showing up. What is it they did? How did they respond in certain situations? And that's what we're aiming for in this one. So what we're actually going to do now, before we jump into anything, is can you guys just jump in the chat? I want to make sure the chat box is working. I'm coming in from Melbourne. Can you guys just jump in the chat box your name and where you're tuning in from today? So Sydney, Redfern, Sydney, awesome. Eddie, Athena, feel free to come off off mute if you want, if it's going to be easier than trying to type and walk at the same time. Manny Sutherland, watching from the Philippines. Awesome. Angel. Elaine coming in from the Philippines too. A couple of internationals. This is awesome. Chris coming in from the Philippines as well. Santo Tomas. Did I say that correctly? Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Got a couple more still coming in. Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming in. Branda, you're from Sutherland and Sydney. Fantastic. Well, it sounds like I'm the only weird one here that's from Melbourne. So I feel very left out right now. But we can't all have it our own way, can we? Well, guys, I really appreciate you jumping in, diving in the chat there. What we're going to explore now is what are the three mindsets that we get faced with. Now, we talked before about what's the victim mindset, what's the worker's mindset, and ultimately what's the winner's mindset. Now, going through time, I want to share a couple of stories with you. So I know some people very close to me. You ever come up across people that all you hear from them is the complaints? They can never do. They tell you everything they want to do, all the things they want to achieve. They want to be happier in life. They want to get out and do things, experience things. But they'll tell you all the reasons they can't do it because they don't have the background. They don't have the money. They don't have the energy to do things. And instead, they'll tell you everything they don't have. Insert excuse here. They tell you that they want to be happy, but they're not prepared to do anything about it. And then you get the people who want to be happy. He's been told for years that he needs to lose weight, that he needs to see the doctor. Now it's getting to the point where he's got medical problems. And all he's done is complained about everybody telling him what he's got to do. He's got to lose weight. He can't lose weight, he tells them. Yet there's people that have been bigger than him that I've seen lose weight. They've made the choice. They've either got the operation, they've put in the effort at the gym, they've eaten better. But he's let it go that far that he now is in a physical state where he's caught in a catch-22. All you ever hear is what he doesn't have, what he can't do. And he's starting that victim mindset. He wants to be happier. He wants to be fitter. Or so he says. But he's not really prepared to make that choice, make that decision. Whereas on the other hand, you get the people that are workers. What does the worker mentality sound like? They're the people who are constantly doing it. You always hear them. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm working hard. Head down, bum up. Got the grind. What's the one that goes around at the moment? It's, help me out, Carl. What's the one that people are saying? It's usually what it's on TikTok, you know,
I'm just thinking of GSD. Get shit done.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of that. There's the grind. There's the busyness.
The grind.
Right? And all they're working for is to get that paycheck. Because once they have the money, then they'll be able to be happy. Then they'll be able to relax. Then they'll be able to calm down. Then they'll be able to be happy and have the confidence that they're so eagerly seeking in life. And the difference with the winner is they start to, as mentioned before, reprioritize the thought process to help things flip around. So we're going to look at it from this way. I'll give you 3 words. So all you need to remember tonight, be, do, have. So just drop in the chat for me. When I was talking before about the victim mindset, what did you pick up was the first thing that they were worried about? Was it worried about being? Were they worried about doing? Or were they worried about having? It's okay. If you get it wrong, I've stuffed up many times, don't worry. Having. Awesome, man, yeah. That's it. So focused on the have. The haves and the have-nots. So when a victim looks at this, they look at have. I need to have in order to do, and then I can be happy, I can be confident, I can be calm, I can be insert feeling, emotion here. So where do you think the worker, where do you think they fit into this? Don't drop it in the chat. John, Chris, I can see your head ticking over at the moment. I see the clock's going. That's it. They're a worker. What comes to mind for a worker? Workers are doing things so limited. So workers stuck in here. Just hold on 1 second for me, guys. Sorry. Just had something. Need to double check. We're back. Sorry, guys. Just on computer. They're going to do in order to have. They're going to work hard to have the money. They're going to work hard to buy the thing. They're going to work hard to have the success. They're going to work hard to have the accomplishment in order to be. This one, okay, it's the road to burnout. I lived that for years. So one thing I haven't shared with you guys yet is I'm a chartered accountant. I was a CFO of a multinational company at the age of 29. I went from prep to finishing my CA degree without failing a subject. I worked hard. That was it. Did I take a gap year? No. Did I go on schoolies at the end of year 12? No. But I tell you what, I worked through and I accomplished it. I met all my targets. I got the end of school that I needed at the end of year 12. I got into the program at uni that I needed. I found a job in the accounting firm. It led me to the client that I became a finance manager, and 4 years later, I was a CFO of a multinational organization at age 29. All I wanted to do was having success and be happy, be content. But I got to all that and it still wasn't there. It still wasn't there. I was still looking for more. Where is it coming from? What is it? What more do I have to do in order to have that life that so many people talk about? There was something broken. And then what it was, it came about. You've probably actually, who you just heard of it? Muhammad Ali. Surely we've had people here who've heard of Muhammad Ali. He was the greatest. He was the greatest boxer of all time. He was nicknamed the greatest. And he said, champions aren't made in the gym. He said, champions are made from something that they have deep inside, a desire, a dream, a vision. So it sort of sat with me. It's like, well, what's that really about? Going to the gym is doing is working out. Yes, that's part of the process. But what's he getting at? Like, I had a desire. He was getting at the being, the essence, that inspiration in us, that person who we are and the person we ought to need to be able to be that person that we're expecting to be at the end. And don't stress now if you can't work it. We're going to cover off on all this. Another thing I want to share with you too is there was a study done on the Jamaican sprinters. And what they found out is that the elite athletes were found to have a superior coping mechanism and a mental toughness, a superior mental toughness compared to the sub-elite athletes. So it starts to tell me that when we're doing things, you ever heard that terms mind over matter? It comes down to, it's not necessarily how we're going about doing things, how we're attacking things all the time, but what's going on between here? What is it we're prioritizing? What are we valuing? And what are the standards we hold ourselves to? The attitude that we turn up with? How much of that is actually playing into what we're doing and where we're going? And that's the little secret that we're going to explore today. Because we start inwards. Because we're all looking for inspiration, aren't we? We're looking for some sort of inspiration to get us going. Because motivation, believe it or not, is really an external force. We get motivated to move away from something. We get motivated by a personal trainer. We get motivated by something that we usually don't want to be. But we get inspired to achieve something. We're inspired to drawn towards something. And that's coming from that desire that Ali talks about. Where do we see ourselves? How can we get there? It's internal. Once we work all that out, our values, our beliefs, our attitudes, we can then take that into what we're doing. And you've probably heard that saying, that when you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. In order to do that, we need to ascertain this first. What is it that aligns with us, as opposed to what is it they're doing going to give me? What am I going to have at the end of it? But rather, what is it that I want to be experiencing? And how do I need to show up when I'm doing what I'm doing? Now, you can take this into the gym, you can take this into the work life, you can take this into your personal life. But what is the attitude that you want to show up with? Who is it you're being when you're taking action and doing? Because this is where it leads to. Because the doing is what you get the have. Now, one thing I want to share with you. If you guys have any questions at the moment, if you do, drop them in the chat. You're right, Angel? Awesome. One common misconception is people will talk about you can be whatever you want to be. It's in us right now. This is within us. We've just got to unleash whatever it is to have. Now, this is about what you end up with. You can have, from a place of the gym, you can have strength. You can have stamina. So many people misconfuse the have with that be. Because they go, I want to be strong. I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. But really, that is an outcome. That is what you're going to get at the end of the process after you've done the doing. But before you do the doing, you need to set your mindset, set your approach. How is it you're approaching that doing? What is it you want to be? Are you going to be determined? Are you going to be disciplined? Are you going to be committed? Are you going to be passionate? Are you going to be inspired when you approach doing what you're doing? Because when you hit the do, it gets hard, doesn't it? You might be going for that extra way. Heck, there might be something at work that you know is part of the job and you got to do it, but you avoided it. But when you approach it with the right attitude, the right mindset, the right values, the big enough why takes care of any how. And that's what we're looking at when we look at who you're being. How are you approaching things? Question, is it in us? We have it. What causes us to get stuck, blocked, that prevents us to be? Oh, we could go everywhere with this one, Carl. You guys cool if we go on a little tangent and answer that question? I know you are, Carl. So when we're looking at being, is that how do we get there? What do we work out? We'll come back to this. Carl, you've seen this one before, all right? Don't spoil it for everybody. So as Carl alluded to earlier, we're an onion. That's our true self at the center there. Excuse me, hold on a second. There we go. There are a couple more bicep curls, mate. This is our true self. This is where we're at. This is what we are about. This is our essence. This is our inspiration. These are our values, the things that we hold important to ourselves. Then over time, we're born that way. We're born naturally expressive, naturally curious, naturally inquisitive, naturally loving and affectionate. If you look at a baby, look how a very young child interacts with people around them. And then if you notice something different, have a look at the parents and what their behaviours are, because they are what rubs off on a child through those different years. And that's what starts forming this next layer. And this layer is what we call our feared self. This is where all the crud sits. All the drama, all the stories, all the limiting beliefs that we start to build up over our lifetime. You probably haven't. And if you haven't, you're very lucky. You probably experienced at some point in your life someone telling you, no, you can't do something. Or they're taking away some sort of love and affection from you for something you've done. You've been punished. Even when you thought what you were doing was good, you was curious, you were just expressing yourself, or you were going after something that you wanted. And somebody told you all the reasons, all the naysayers turned around and said, these are all the reasons you shouldn't be doing it. Because you'll get hurt, you'll get sick, like insert their insecurity here. And don't get me wrong, someone tells you not to run and jump off a cliff. Well, that's pretty good advice because your life's at threat. Your life's at risk. But it's all this other stuff when we start, don't put yourself out there. Don't go for those goals. In Australia here, we've got the tall poppy syndrome. Anyone who ever wants to get up in life, do well, achieve, succeed, go beyond, becomes different from the pack, they easily get cut down. We find a way to put them down and put them back in their box so they become just like everyone else. And that's what ends up here. So we end up having these limiting beliefs. Just on this, there was a study done with fleas. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. I can't remember the name of the guy who did it, but they grabbed a whole heap of fleas and put them in a jar. Now, fleas can jump, I think something like 3 feet. And this is a microscopic, and they can jump almost a metre tall. They put them in a jar about this big and put a lid on it. And all the fleas jumped up and kept hitting the lid. And then over time, they took the lid off and no fleas jumped out of the jar because they've learned they could only jump so high. So they started changing their behaviour and their approach to life. So they weren't hitting that ceiling anymore. Now, the more interesting thing was when those fleas reproduced, the baby fleas, I don't know what they're called, let's call them baby fleas, even though, oh, you've got it, awesome, thanks, Carl, even though they were born and biologically capable of jumping out of the jar, where they morphed. And now they were only capable of jumping as high as the top of the jar and not out. So when you start thinking about that, you start understanding why we're so constrained, we're so restricted. Who's enjoying this at the moment? Who's getting something out of this? Kind of dish? Quick show of hands. Awesome. Thanks, Eddie. Lastly, and this is where we really start preventing ourselves and really start holding ourselves back. Because this feared self, this one's got the drama, it's got the stories. This has got all the excuses of why we don't do things. So we don't want people to see this about ourselves. This is all the bad stuff. All the things we've been told off about over life. So we've got to build a protective layer around ourselves. And this is what we call our presenting self. And you may know as the crust or the mask. Excuse my handwriting. This is the one where we start to put on the personas of the perfectionist, the hero, the carer, the martyr, where we put everyone else before ourselves, so no one can turn around and point the finger at us because we potentially may uncover some sort of hurt, some sort of belief, some sort of pattern way of thinking or being that we don't like about ourselves. It hits that story, that trigger. Who here's been triggered before? Maybe once in your life, maybe a few times more. Someone said something and it's just, set you off. I say we all have, haven't we? Thanks, guys. Appreciate your honesty. Because what's happened is someone said something and it's got through here and hit this. It's just that thing that we don't like about ourselves, the thing that we're told not to like about ourselves. Heck, growing up, I remember my mum saying to me, don't be bossy. Don't be bossy. So I went out of my way when I got into the corporate world to be nice, to be polite. And I avoided being assertive because, never. Yeah, good one, Carl. I avoided being assertive. And as a result, I found my job so challenging. I was leading people, leading teams. And sometimes you just got to tell them black and white what it is. But I was so scared about coming across as bossy and as a result not being liked. And hitting that thing that my mum told me always not to be, it really hindered myself. So I came out, one of the things I've got to battle with and uncover is that people pleaser, that yes person. So many people can come about it. I ended up being a martyr. We were selling off the organisation was breaking down. We were selling off 4 businesses. I was 29, and I remember saying to the other senior executives who've been there, they're in their 60s and that they're established, kids have grown up. I said, I'm okay. I'm here for everyone else. And then wondered why, when it all finished, I felt so upset, so rejected. when I was the only one who didn't get my full payout because I was living in this, so not to be here in here. But yet, had I actually taken care of myself, recognized who I was, that I was of value, that I didn't need to actually be put below anybody else, that I could support people, I would have been living from here. And it's only taken me, that was 14 years ago, and I've had to learn this one the hard way. So tonight, this is what I want to bring to you guys. So we're going to help shortcut some of that process for you. So you can start to see the patterns that come up in your life, the patterns that come up in the thinking. And you can also help, once you understand more about yourself, you get to understand more about others, which improves your relationships, improves your bonds, and improves how you experience life. Because a rich life is full of experiences. A happy life is not void of negativity. A happy life is filled with overcoming adversity and the successes that we come from facing our biggest challenges. And tonight, as we explore this more, it's going to help give you the thought pattern, the thinking processes, to help you take on and approach those challenges even easier. How's that sound? Yeah? Carl, have I answered your question? Awesome, cool. Can I just get a quick show of hands? Who got something out of that? Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Love you guys being here. You're in the right room. So, where are we up to? Just have a quick check-in. How are we on time? Perfect. We're running on time. This is fantastic. This is what I love about this. It just seems to flow. It seems to work. We go where we need to. So this model that I'm talking about, the Be Who Have, this was coined by Stephen Covey. Now, if anyone's heard of Stephen Covey, you may have read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And if you haven't yet, I suggest you go out and get a copy of it, whether you read it, whether you audible it, whatever it is. But it's a great insight. It's got some great principles which we're going to start with and explore a bit more this evening. So, let's get into this. Who would like to find it? Wait a second, before I move on, are you guys cool with what we've been talking about? Who's got questions at the moment? If you've got questions, pop them in the chat. Come off mute. There's only a handful of us. No? All good? Let's keep rocking. So we talked about the Be Who Have. So when we actually approach this, we do actually have to think of it in reverse, a bit like the victim mindset, but we're going to use this to our advantage. Stephen Covey talks about start with the end in mind. So what is it that you want to have? Oh, look at him go. Great work then, Carl. Is that just your reading list? They're the ones you read this week, aren't they? No?
I wish. I'm still on buyback your time.
So when we're looking at this, we're actually going to work in reverse. So, come on, can you guys attune with me a bit? Maybe just drop in the chat. What's something you'd like to have right now? You can think of it. I want to have a big bike. Awesome, Elaine. A big bike. The Harley, it's about a big chopper or sort of thing, or a bit of trike. It's got the 2 wheels at the back. I want to have a bike. Cool. Let's start with that one. I want to have a big bike. So we work backwards. A car. Cool. All right. A house. Yep. Sweet. This is good. I want to have a 6-pack. What I want. And I don't mean a VB. I mean like in the old abs. Australia's best training studio. Very cool. Got a few more? Yeah, I can see people typing away. This is cool. A fatty wallet. Manny wants a house too. Oh, Boba Fett statue signed by George Lucas. Very cool, Chris. Very cool. So I'm guessing you're a Star Wars fan from that, mate. Yeah. A baby boy. That one, that's a different sort of challenge. But we can come back to that. Australia's permanent residency. Cool. Awesome. So I'm going to ask you now that you've popped them in the chat, that's what you want. What's that going to give you when you have that? I'm going to have this thing, which is awesome, by the way. And you're allowed to, and you should go after them. Excuse me, Elaine, just don't go pinching any boys. Just don't go taking any boys out of strollers or anything on the street. That's, I suggest not.
Unless that's who you want to be.
We could go well off the track with that, couldn't we? So just drop it in the chat. I can travel with my family if I have a car and I can buy gasoline with a fatty wallet. Very cool. Bragging rights to the 501st community. All right, Chris, and what's that going to give you? If you've got bragging rights, what's that going to give you? This is cool, guys. Love it. Just want to check in if we've still got Anthea and Randa with us. So put your videos on or just wave and say hi. Come off mute for a sec. Just want to make sure you're still with us. So, Angel, can I ask, what will it give you having the ability to travel with your family and put gasoline in your car from a fatty wallet? That's Randa, a house too. Awesome. Happiness. Sweet. That's what we're looking for. And I'm not looking for bills, by the way. I'm not looking for bills. Elaine, what will a baby boy give you? Apart from sleepless nights. And what's the question again? I missed it. Awesome. Thank you for asking, Randa. So what you want to have, let's start up here. The have is the house. And having the house, what will that give you? Cool. Stability and peace of mind. Awesome. Cool. We can ride in the freeway, only 400cc and bikes can pass through. All right. And if you can ride on the freeway going fast, now see, you're going to have something that I don't have. You're going to have wind going through your hair, Elaine. Sorry, I just saw something else pop up on the screen there. So if you're riding down the freeway and you're 400cc or bigger bike, with the wind through your hair, what's it going to give you? Hopefully bugs in the teeth from smiling a lot. Oh, wear a helmet. Awesome. Well, guys, there's the car. Well, Rhonda, Manny and I will get 6 houses. 4 will get rent payments, so they pay for our 2 houses and give stability and security. A sense of belonging, Manny, a sense of belonging, Rhonda. Awesome. Yeah, fantastic, guys. So when we're looking at this, we want to start with the have. We start with the end in mind. So what is the goal? What is the thing we want to have? Now, here's something for you. What happens when you join these 2 words?
Behave.
Awesome, Eddie. Thank you. And what's another word for behave? It's looking at you. It's staring at you. It's in the middle.
Do.
Yes! We have a winner! Lovely. Thanks, Eddie. So the way we get from be to have is we behave and do. So we behave a certain way. These are the actions that we take. So we work out what we want to have. We want to have the car driving down the freeway with the family in it, kids kicking in the back seat, just going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? You've got a whole, so much to look forward to, Angel. We've got to do. So we're now going to work out what the actions are that we want to take. How are we going to turn up? What are we going to do? How are we going to behave in those moments to get to what is what we want? So we're going to work, you work through those. And there might be things like for me, as mentioned before, to become a chartered accountant, I had to work out what was the study I needed to achieve in order to have the qualification, to have that job. So I had to do the assignments. I had to do the schoolwork. I had to apply for the right courses, training. So how do I want to be? How did I need to be? What was my approach that needed to be to getting here? So Angel, when you're thinking about all the stuff that you've got to do for your car, to get your car, what are some of the values you may need to possess? What are the things you may need to hold important in your life to bring that about? And for anyone else here too, if you want to jump in the chat and share with us what it is you feel you need to be, what are you going to hold important to you in order to achieve that goal, that thing that you want to have, pop it in the chat. Or come off mute if you like. Feel free to come off mute. Cool. Cool. So how would it be if you were interested and curious about money? Interested and curious about financial management? If you had a mindset of wanting to learn about money, is that what I'm hearing with this? You need to be financially literate to handle money and save up. So what I'm hearing is you need to be curious about how do I go about doing it? You need to be invested. You need to be passionate about getting that thing that you're after. Because have a think about it now. Don't think, I need to cut costs by refraining from purchasing unnecessary items and save more money. Cool. Right, guys. Great start. We're going to take this another step further. I'll give you a little treat. You're not going to have to look at me for the next few minutes. You guys cool with that? Right? And maybe close our eyes. Don't have to snore. No snoring. Chris, no snoring, all right? Don't want anyone falling asleep during this little next step, but we're going to do something a little special. Eddie, keep myself updated to the changes at migration changes. Awesome. Reach out to the migration agent and find out solutions as possible. Awesome. They're all the things you need to do. That's fantastic. And you guys have got this. Angel, all that you just talked about, becoming financial literate, that sits in your do. Okay? So you now see how when we turn around and go, what do I need to be? Okay, where's that inspiration and incentive coming from? We can start seeing how that now translates into the do. Start making those paths a bit clearer. So, cool. What we're going to do for the next few minutes, I'm going to ask you guys to close your eyes. Can you do that? Yeah? Just don't nod off. No snoring, no nodding off, all right? Luckily, Chris, you're on mute, so I'm not going to hear you snore. So we'll go from here. Yeah, I can see you, Carlo. See the back of your neck. All right, so guys, go ahead. Just get comfy and close your eyes. And take in 3 deep breaths in through your nose. Feel your belly fill up. Burn out through your mouth. Nose. Notice that air traveling down the back of your throat and filling your lungs. And as you breathe out, feel that air passing out over your lips. As you're breathing, notice your forehead getting heavier. Your eyes getting heavier. Your shoulders are loosening up. You begin to relax. And as you breathe in, when you notice you become that bit more relaxed, just give me a little nod. And take yourself to the time when you've got that thing you want, the thing you want to have, that car, that motorbike, that permanent residency, house, the Boba Fett statue signed by George Lucas. That's it, Chris. Forgot you, mate. Don't worry. Take yourself to that moment when you have that thing and keep breathing into it. Make that moment as clear as it can be in your mind. Whether it's a picture you see, yes, and they're awesome. Whether it's a picture you see, voices you hear, sounds you hear, or things you feel and touch. Whatever it is for you, that's cool. So as you have this image in your mind, keep breathing into it. Go ahead and turn up the colors if you can see it. Make it brighter. Make it bigger. Bring it closer. And as you're doing that now, turn up the volume in your ears. Hear the noises around you. Listen to what people are saying. Make that even louder. As you can see these bright colors and these bright images, and you're hearing clearly these sounds, check in. What is it you're feeling? What are you noticing? Is it your hands gripped on the handlebars of the bike? Is it holding that steering wheel of the car? Is it having a passport in your hand that's stamped residency? Is it having the big smile on your face as you talk to the 401st Fleet Guild? Notice how you're feeling in that moment. Feel that, breathe into that. And as you're doing that, listen to what you're now telling yourself. What is it you're saying to yourself? What is it you're capable of? And with all that, now that you have all that with you, with your eyes shut, I want you to drift up above the scene, above that moment, and observe, who's that person that you are now? Who are you being in that moment? What are the attributes of that person that you see? Is that person happy? Is that person confident? Is that person clear? Is that person certain? What else are they? Breathe into that. Note that. Remember that. Feel that. And I'll count back from 5. And when I hit 1, you'll begin to open your eyes and come back to the room. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes and come on back to the room. How was that? Okay? Just pop in the chat for you. What was it? What did you experience? What did you see in that moment? Let's just get it down for yourself. We don't want to lose moments go by because that's saying something to you. This is inside you to know who you need to be. Who did you see? What were the attributes of the person you are going to be in that moment? Happy, independent, happy, stress-free, contented, confident, and passionate me. Awesome. Happy, confident, strong, assertive. I see myself laughing and so happy. Yes. The bugs in the teeth are like, yeah. I see Chris dancing around with his trophy in front of everybody. His statue just is successful enough to hang out with George Lucas. I'm stable enough to afford $1 million statue. Cool. And what are the attributes? What are you feeling? What is it about you that shows you that? Chris, you missed the part where you're dancing holding the statue. I think these are awesome guys. You guys are nailing this. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Wayne. So the reason I'm asking you that now is knowing that's who you need to be. That is already inside you. The fact that you can articulate that, describe that, know what that is, know what that looks like, that is already inside you. We can only see what that which is inside of us. We've not seen it. If we've not experienced, we cannot articulate that. You've articulated that. This person. So as they say, act as if and so shall it be. Do it now. You are that person, that being, that happy, laughing, confident, strong, assertive, independent, stress-free, contented, passionate person is in you now. The great thing about this, about being, is it's a choice. It's as simple as choosing to be happy, choosing to be confident, choosing to be assertive, not angry, assertive, choosing to be passionate. And it's in being those things and embodying those attributes that we then take the actions, we behave the way that person is that will have that thing. It is with those attributes, not giving up, relentless, feeling relief. Awesome. Those tenacious people that don't give up, those committed people, that is inside you. That is the person that you need to be. And if we bring it back to there, the things you can control are the things that you can think about, the things you prioritize, the things you can choose. That's what you can control. You can control who you are, what you be. And in controlling what you be, you'll be able to control how you behave and what you do. And ensure that you remain focused, as you mentioned before, that we stay on track. Because there's going to be times that that we waver off, that we're going to come back. Now, admittedly, this is not going to be without challenging. You might be sitting there thinking, well, yeah, that's all great, Owen. You said that. Yeah, it sounds simple, but how do we go about doing it? Because that's the thing that's going to make me happy. No, you choose to be happy. You can choose to be happy now. You can sit there and you know what it feels like to be happy. Choose to be happy right now. You can choose to be happy. So just choose to be happy and be happy. The thing you're going to be up against is the stories you've told yourself, the lies that you've heard all this time, because you have to be a certain way. You can't be happy unless you have. The things in life you're going to get is what's going to make you feel the way you're going to feel. Wrong. Go into here. Go into your heart. You are going to have to go through a bit of a reprogramming. Remind yourself regularly. Reset daily and come back to that person that you envisaged, that person you saw at the end, and how they were being happy, being confident, being assertive. And there's going to be times that we're going to fall back, we're going to stumble. Heck, there's times you guys probably go to the gym and you can't lift the same weight that you were left the day before. But that's cool. You keep coming back. You keep recommitting. You keep having that belief in yourself, that persistence. And over time, it becomes natural. Over time, we see the change. Over time, we end up having that thing that we so dearly wanted. How's this sitting for you? Can I get a double thumbs up, guys, if you're really enjoying this, you've really got something out of this? All right, awesome. Thank you. Elaine, I can't see your thumb. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. It's been great, guys. Cool. So, to do that, to overcome that challenge, thank you, Anthony. I love it. Carl chose double thumbs up. Awesome. So, to be able to get past this point, to be that being, to be that person that we saw ourselves as being, there's three things we've got to do. There's one main thing, and so we've got to build our mind fitness. And there's three elements that we've got to build in that, and that's building our mind strength, our mind stamina, and our mind flexibility. Just like Carl probably gets you to do when you come into the gym every day. You're working on your physical strength, your physical stamina, and your physical flexibility. All variants of that. Answer's yes, isn't it, Carl? Good answer. Thanks, Carl. Just like with our minds, just like when we're training our minds. The mind's like a muscle. So we've got to build our mind strength, our mind stamina, and mind flexibility. And that, my friends, is how we begin to move out of here and into here. And we can embrace and adopt that person that we're being and we're supposed to be. That person that you saw is the person you're supposed to be. It's not some dream. It's not some wish. It's premonition. It's already in you, and that's why you had that vision. Are you guys cool if I share with you how we can go about doing that? How we can go about building our mind fitness? So if you're cool to find out a bit more on how you can work through this, because this is not something we do alone. To get where I've got now, I've had to go through with a heap of support behind me over the last 14 years. And more importantly, over the last 4 years to get where I am now, to be able to learn, understand this stuff, and to make the shifts that I have now. So I've developed a program after all my experience to help people with this, and it's called the Mind Fitness Program. Now, I've got a couple of free masterclasses coming up, one Friday week and one the Wednesday after. Now, you can select the time whichever one's going to suit you. And I invite you all to join that. And we're going to explore the mind fitness and how is it we build and elevate ourselves and our mind strength, and how we create that calm, that ease, and that balance through building our mind stamina. But more importantly, how we can see things differently, find different ways, new paths, new avenues, change perspectives through building our mind flexibility. Does that sound something like cool to explore? Something very interesting? Go click on the links below, register a free event through Eventbrite. We'll jump online and we'll start getting into it. We'll start diving a bit deeper about how we start making the shift to be that person that we ought to be, and how we start building those little building blocks and the foundations to get you from where you are now to where you want to be and have that success. Because remember, a happy life is not void of negativity. A happy life is several moments where we've overcome adversity to achieve success. And it's knowing in you that you have that capability in you. So jump on and then send it out. And if you guys would like to connect over my socials, Angel, if you can just drop them in the chat. Love to connect with you on Instagram. If you've got any questions after this, I'd be happy to answer them. But now, Carl, we cool to take another 5? Awesome. Before I run off, I'd love to hear, pop in the chat, come off, mute, whatever you prefer. What do you learn? What do you love? What are you taking away from tonight's session?
A couple of things. One, I would say, though, one word specifically to recommit, as most of the people, if something fails and they drop it, or just like with recommit, where it just like happens, so that to get back on track. And big enough why, take care of big enough how that's
Yeah, big enough why will take care of any.
anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So is that a new phrase for you, is Eddie?
Yes.
Cool.
It's
Cool.
digesting it, but I like it.
Would
Yeah.
you like me to explore that one quickly?
Sure.
Yeah. So, guys, you cool if we explore this one a bit? So, when we talked about a big enough why, so in our why, and you may have heard of Simon Sinek, he talks about starting with why. But our why is our environments in our internal world. You know how I talked about inspiration before? It's that desire that drives us, whether it's our goals, our ambitions, our attitudes. Why? What's the values? What are the things you hold important in your life that you will prioritize? Because they're going to give something to you. They're a belief about yourself, your identity. When you start to dig into them and understand your why, the reason behind you doing things, what it is that has you drive and move forward, when you have a big enough understanding and a big enough oomph inside you, worrying about how to do it won't matter. You will find a way. If you ever notice those people who have made massive changes in history, Albert Einstein, for instance, his why was he had a dream. I was watching this last night, and he was fascinated. He had this curiosity and this urge to understand light and time and matter. And he devoted his life to understanding that and to breaking it down and simplifying things. And for some of us, you're going to have that drive, that thing you want. And if I can, with yours, you mentioned in the chat, if I can share it again, about getting your permanent residency. You have a reason for that. You have a desire for that, do you not? Thing that's pulling you towards it. And when you understand what it is that's driving you and the reasons why you want that thing that you want, you will find any way possible to get that thing. You may come up against those blocks, those barricades, that person says, no, you can't do it that way. And if your drive is big enough, if you want that thing that bad, you will find out a way to get it. And that's what we mean by a big enough why takes care of any how. Cool. Mate, thanks for jumping in. Angel, my biggest takeaway, I can be more, do more, have more. Awesome. I can be happy, stress-free, contented, confident, and passionate because I choose it. Awesome. It's not a dream. It's not a wish. It's a premonition. Very cool. Because it's already inside of me. How's that feel to write that down? Elaine, I love it when we close our eyes. It helps me relax. It clears my mind and motivates me to focus on my goals. Awesome. Chris, that be do have model is the best to shift into. Model is the best to shift into, although it's going to feel hard because here in our country, we are conditioned, have to be. Yeah, that's a great point, Chris. Quite often what's sitting in here is our cultural backgrounds and upbringing. So we're going to take that in our cultural conditioning. I caught up with an auntie the other week, and she's worked as a missionary over in Africa. And I found out my dad's family very religious. They all go to church and have been in the elders at church. Now my young brother's very religious. And I had the understanding, I had not really met my auntie before, but I had the understanding that she was a religious person because she believed so much in Christianity. She said, I'm not religious. She said, I don't belong to a religion. She said, I have faith. And we work through certain principles. She said, religion is based on laws and rules. Faith is based on principles and choice. And I don't know about you, but that for me, that sort of blew my mind. And when I started to step back and looked at it, it's like, yeah, no wonder we see some people living a life a certain way and potentially feel restricted on things because of these beliefs, these rules, these convenient truths that they're putting on themselves that are restricting them. They're hitting that lid of the jar because they don't believe there can be any other way. Cool goosebumps. Very cool. Very cool, guys. I trust you got stacks, loads, and heaps out of tonight. I want to thank you very much for being here. Can you guys give yourself a round of applause, please? You guys have been awesome. You guys have been bloody awesome tonight. Appreciate your interaction. This has really been fun for me. Yes, Carl, that's it. Go for it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys have got heaps, stacks, loads, and heaps out of this. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. This is going to be bloody awesome, and I'd love to be able to support you guys as further we can. Anthony, give us a shout out if you need to, and we can go further. Thanks, Chris, mate. This has been awesome, guys. Appreciate your time, your attention, your effort. Love having you here. No one else can hear you clap at home and go hard. Totally. Alrighty, guys. Carl, I'll throw it back over to you. You're so welcome, Angel.
Ooh, goosebumps, mate. Goosebumps. Everyone enjoyed. Great time. Guys, this is our last time. If we want to ask Owen any more questions to wrap up, the links are there. So we're just going to re-put them at the bottom. Jump on his events. Check it in there. Friday, 1st of March, 10 a.m. Can't do during the day. Then he's got an evening time for Wednesday, March 6th. Thank you so much, Owen.
You're welcome.
What a great model. I love the model.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Angel. Thank you very much for your support in bringing this together. Trust we've served you guys this evening, and see you very soon. Have a good one, buddy. You guys need to jump off and stay on this call, or you...
jump off. We have another link. It's a different link.
All right, guys. I love you later. Great seeing you. Great getting to know you. Through.
Hey, thanks so much for joining the episode of Table Talk today. We hope you found some helpful tips and inspiration in staying healthy and fit, even with a busy schedule. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast. Stay tuned for our next conversation. Until then, keep prioritizing yourself, your health, your fitness, and we'll see you on the next Table Talk.